the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that rugby has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Many were called, but only two have been chosen for the title on the line. What a tournament we've had this year. Barthes Under-20 rugby tournament has had cries, tears, blood, sweat and tears. The juniors have come on this turf and represented their various countries the best they can. Hello Africa, hello Namibia, hello Zimbabwe, hello Kenya, and welcome to the 45,000-seater Nyayo National Stadium. This is the day we are going to have a new champion as far as the Barthes Under-20 rugby tournament is concerned, and this is the day also Kenya will be walking out with a lot of lessons, having not made it to the finals and defended the title. Hello there, once again, my name is Chris Migwambo. We are here to bring you the semi-final. But even before that, let's have a recap of the 7th and 8th place playoff that we had earlier, where none other than Zambia are now 7th on this tournament, and followed by Cote d'Ivoire, who have finished 8th, having not won any game. From the playoffs played today, right now, these are how the teams are standings as far as this tournament is concerned. In number 5 is Tunisia, number 6 is Uganda, number 7 is Zambia, and then number 8 is Cote d'Ivoire. This is after Zambia had their win, and also Tunisia beating Uganda in the 5th and 6th place played. Now we are looking at our final, a semi-final that is between Kenya and Madagascar. This is the big game that we will be airing live on K24 Plus and also on K24 TV. This is a recap, a replay and a rematch of 2021 Barthes Trophy final. Remember last time Kenya played Madagascar, Kenya won by a hair, which was 21 points to 20. That was a big game. And even as we talk about this game, I'm now being joined by Alex Njue, a man who has played for Kenya Under-20 team, and also a man who has knowledge as far as the boys will be getting onto the turf are concerned. Alex, thank you so much for creating time for us. We are here, final day we've had a great tournament, this one. However much the team that you are rooting for, Kenya, are only playing the semi-finals for a position, but they haven't had anything. From the look of everything, as we look at this tournament, what are you taking home, even as we start wrapping up the final day?
As we talk on the final day, I'd like to thank Kenyans for their patience so far. It has taken the Kenya under-20 team so much for them to be able to make it to the third and fourth playoffs. We can remember on Wednesday they had a bad day here against Namibia, losing 16-5, and today they have a chance on finishing high.
And then looking at now the game that will be airing in about 20 or 30 minutes or so, Madagascar versus Kenya. We're starting to look at a Madagascar squad, which is the team that will be looking for that a prime third position. These are our 2021 finalists, and even as we look at the Madagascar squad, this is a team that has had the opportunity of being in a prime position of winning even this year's edition. Looking at now the squad that has been named, we will start with up there. We are having none other than Tahiana Rahari, Sami Manana, Jerry Manuela Mami Tohiana, Have Rasoa Rantoniria, Todisao Randriria Masina Valona, Ofano Rakoto Nandrasana, Safidi Anjarosoa Andrea Mihaja, Ofosi Rakoto Niania, and then the captain here, Rojosoa Randria Manan Tena, Philbri Cedric Romaroson, Fiao Nonana Rakoto Son, Siaro Niania Michael Rakoto Arijoana, Guy Anes Henry Randro Naivo, Fidisoa Razana Parani, Zachary Alain Jose Tojoniana, and then final one here is Elson Gabriel. The Madagascar team, looking at the Maki squad, Alex, it's a strong squad. It's a team that has had their best chances in this tournament, and even as they look for that third position, this is a good squad.
Yes, the Madagascar squad is a very good squad. If you can recall, on day one, they managed to beat Zambia by 26 to 14 points. But unfortunately, during the semi-finals, Madagascar was not able to hold up, and they lost the match by a very big margin against Zimbabwe. And that gives Kenya motivation and the right confidence against them in the next match.
Yeah, and then even looking at their experience in this tournament, there are players they had last season, like the captain, he is coming here to play another rematch. Is this the time that they need to prove to Kenyans that, you know what, you are the host, Namibia beat you. We are having that opportunity also of beating you and finishing in an honorable position.
Yes, Kenya has the chance, but unfortunately because of the way that things have might change, because the game might now become a slow game, and that might be an advantage to Kenya. But as well, when it comes to defensively, if Kenya is going to give away penalties to Madagascar, I'm sure they're going to nail us some points off that.
Exactly, and talking about Team Kenya, there is a team that has now been named by Curtis Olago. We're starting with Nicholas Okulo, Id Ganguma, Will White Mususu, Elvis Pasian, John Aswani, Gabriel Ayimba, Tyson Maina, John Baraka, the captain, Emmanuel Opondo, Samuel Mwaura, Joseph Ayiro, Felix Chacha, Matthias Osimbo, David Mwangi, and Tony Okech. A good side this one, there is some changes he has made, even as we go through the squad. Alex, what's your take on this team?
Looking at the team, there's one main change that captain coach Curtis Olago has made, and that is to bring Joseph Ayiro into the starting lineup. On Wednesday, Joseph Ayiro came off the bench and scored a very magnificent try against Namibia. Kenya was trailing by 16 points at that particular time, and Joseph Ayiro just coming in and being able to score a try immediately meant that coach was going to make a consideration of him to start today.
Yeah, and then looking at now none other than John Baraka. He is a man under pressure. This will most probably be his last tournament playing for Chipu. Looking at that team, and also the last time when they were being beaten by Namibia, the coach gave him the opportunity and the chance to make the decisions that he defended once we were talking with him here. What are some of the decisions they have to make right now so that at least Kenya doesn't finish fourth?
Yeah. One of the main decisions Kenya has to make today is, I can say we need to take the lead. We need to take the lead as early as by halftime.
Yeah.
That's very crucial. And that will mean that whatever chance we get at kicking points, we need to do that right away. And if we waste chances, then we might regret in the second half, just as we did against Namibia.
Exactly. Even as we talk about Chipu's last results, Kenya had their first game against Uganda, the small Elgon Cup final, which they thoroughly beat Uganda 54-20. And then the game that really had broke them was against Namibia, that is the semi-finals, losing 16-5. These two results, there are so many lessons that Curtis Olago has learned from the boys. He says these are young players who are having the opportunity of playing more. But in a tournament like this one, you never get the chance to correct your mistakes.
Yes, there's no chance to correct the mistakes because as you can speak right now, Namibia has the chance to become the most successful team in the Barthes Trophy, and that will be the main cup final. But for Kenya, our captain himself, John Baraka, is under pressure today. This is not his first meeting against Madagascar. We met against them right here, and we beat them 21-20. We needed a penalty to beat Madagascar the previous match. Yeah. And today, I think Kenya will not take chances. They will need to score and score as many points as possible. Because as we kicked off this tournament, Kenya beat Uganda by so many points. That was 54-20. In the second half alone, Kenya scored 43 points. And I think Kenya might want to start from that position, from where they left against Uganda.
And even as we look at now the Kenyans' opponent, Madagascar's last two matches, they started this tournament with a win against Zambia, winning 26 points to 14. And then the semis, they played against Madagascar, beating Madagascar 32 points to 3. This is a team that has had a win of big margins, especially against Madagascar, beating the finalists 32-3. It's a statement to Curtis Olago's side and also a statement to Kenyan boys.
For the Kenyan boys, this is a moment of confidence, playing against a team that couldn't manage to score a try against Zimbabwe in the semi-finals. And the team that was not able to score a try was the previous finalist. So this can give Kenya a small hint that if they can give it their all, then they can come out of this match with a win.
And then exactly talking about now the pressure that Madagascar is also coming with, they can't allow Kenya to beat them twice in a row, Alex.
Yes, there's that aspect as well of not losing to Kenya twice in a row on their home soil. But in a rugby match, the best team will always win.
And then exactly looking at now the weather, Alex, it's rainy here, but you'll be told that this is a perfect weather for playing rugby.
Yes, this is a perfect weather for playing rugby. If you can look at both teams, Kenya and Madagascar, Kenya has heavier forwards, and they're going to enjoy this weather so much. But ball handling errors could cost us so much. Because Madagascar also, if you can take a look at their fly-off, will be very keen to take on penalties.
Yeah, exactly, and it's raining here at the Nyayo National Stadium, but you will be told that this is the perfect weather the rugby players love, and the Kenyan boys will be coming out of the tunnel down there to come and represent Kenya, believing that they are having a chance. Let's talk, even before we talk about predictions, Alex, let's talk about this man, Curtis Olago. He's a man who is known to win tournaments. Yes, this time around he fell short, but he has to bring a game in this final game.
Yes, of course, Curtis Olago must come out of this match with a win. Taking a look at his profile, he won. He was actually able to defend the title that had been previously won by coach Paul Odera, who is now with the Kenya Simbas. Yeah. And today, Curtis Olago, I'm sure, at halftime, is going to have a very tough talk with the boys. So the boys will come back in the second half to play for him.
In 2021, Kenya beat Madagascar in the finals on this ground, 21-20. It was a breathtaking game. Everyone was at the edge of the seat. We had the pressure, we were praying, we were cheering, and then we won. The boys that led Kenya to that, a player like Aman Wamalwa, Matoka are not here today.
Yes.
What is your prediction as we build up to this one?
My prediction for this match, it will be a very close first half, close scores. But in the second half, as I just said, coach will give the boys enough reason to come back and play for him. So expect a very a high scoring second half.
There you have it. Alex Njue has talked about a team he has turned out for and a team he understands better. That is the Kenya under-20 rugby team Chipu. They've had the opportunity, but this time round it wasn't meant to be. We are now having them play for the third place. This is a game that is going to be live on K24 TV and also on K24 Plus app. And of course, we are also doing it for Rugby Afrique. That is where anyone on the continent can watch it live. And of course, we will be here at halftime to bring you the analysis of how the boys have fared in the first 40 minutes. See you at halftime.
Nyayo National Stadium, it is live action in the Rugby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the two teams.
Today is match day 3, the ultimate round of the competition. We've already seen 2 matches played earlier on, starting with that playoff for 7th place earlier this morning between Cote d'Ivoire and Zambia. The Zambians winning it to finish 7th. And then moments ago we saw Tunisia defeat Uganda to finish 5th. We're now heading into the business end of the competition. This is the bronze medal match between the outgoing champions Kenya under-20 against Madagascar. This is a repeat of last year's final, which was also played at this venue. That game ending 21-22. The Kenyans in the red and green, Madagascar in the green strip. This is a big day, and many dignitaries around, including the Cabinet Secretary for Sports in the Kenyan government, Ambassador Amina Mohamed, and her Principal Secretary in charge of sport, Joe Okudo, just among the dignitaries who are here, as we just see both teams making their way onto the playing turf at the Nyayo National Stadium, lining up for the official playing of the national anthems. In our picture there, Ambassador Amina Mohamed, Joe Okudo, and the President of Rugby Africa, Khaled Babu, and the Kenya Rugby Union Chairman, Odwor Gangla. Any moment now, we will be going into the national anthems, starting with the Madagascar anthem.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask each and every one of you to be upstanding. To be upstanding for the national anthem of Madagascar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Kenya.
And the national
Turning out for the Kenya U20, Nicholas Okulo, Eid Ganguma.
Be ceremonial handshakes before this fixture kicks off. The Kenyan Cabinet Secretary in charge of sports, culture and heritage, Ambassador Amina Mohamed, as well as the President of Rugby Africa, Khalid Babu, and the Chairman of the Kenya Rugby Union, Oduor Gangla, as well as the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Sports, Joe Okudo. Just having a word with the Madagascar technical bench before we embark on the ceremonial greetings.
The dignitaries shaking the hand, shaking the effort from the two sides.
Led by the Cabinet Secretary, the Ministry of Sports, Ambassador Amina Mohamed. Following Amina is Principal Secretary, the Ministry of Sports, Joe Okudo. Closely behind is Khalid Babu, Rugby President, President of Rugby Africa. Right behind Khalid Babu is...
Remember, if you're joining us, this is the
Barthes,
final day of the Rugby Africa Under-20 Barthes Trophy Tournament, coming to you live from the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. It is live on K24 and the Rugby Africa Facebook page, beaming to viewers in Kenya and around the world.
Rugby.
And if you're joining us now, there still is a lot more action, starting with this third place playoff between outgoing champions Kenya and Madagascar, a repeat of last year's final, which ended 21-20 to the Kenyans. And then coming up at 4:30 will be the match that everybody has been waiting for, Namibia against Zimbabwe, to determine who will be the African Under-20 champions in 2022. Lining up for Madagascar, Manana, Tahiana, Rinina, Valona, Nandrasana, Mihaja, Nayaina, Manantena, Romaroson, Nonanason, Arijaona, Randranaivo, Parani, Tojoniaina, and Gabriel. Lining up for Kenya, Okulo, Ganguma, Mususi, Persian, Aswani, Ayimba, Maina, Baraka, Opondo, Mwaura, Airo, Chacha, Osimbo, Mwangi, and Okech. And it is time for the ceremonial ritual by the Madagascans before kickoff. And let's just give them their silence and respect. And the Madagascans are through with their pre-match rituals. It is a damp day in Nairobi. The sun has been out, but today the weather deciding to change its patterns. A bit of rain. Temperatures at 27 degrees Celsius with a humidity of 59% and a wind speed of 16 kilometers per hour. We are looking forward to a great 80 minutes of rugby right here at the Nyayo National Stadium. Remember, the action is live on K24 and the Rugby Africa Facebook page. As you just see the Kenyans going through their team huddle, looking to end this tournament on a high. And our picture there is the referee, Ayman Jirji from Tunisia. He will be the man in charge of this fixture. Remember, the Kenyans relinquished their title with a 16-5 defeat to Namibia in Wednesday's semi-final, while Madagascar failed to reach the final after going down 32 points to 3 to Zimbabwe. Madagascar had begun their campaign with a 26-14 victory over Zambia on Saturday the 9th of April, while Kenya started their campaign with a 54-20 victory over neighbors and regional rivals Uganda. That match also played on the 9th of April. Tonio Ketch gets us underway here at the Nyayo National Stadium. The quest for the bronze medal in the Rugby Africa Under-20 Barthes Trophy has begun. And that is a carry by the Kenyans. That was John Aswani going into contact. Mwaura. Osimbo beats one man, finds the floor. Osimbo has been a revelation for Chipu, as the Kenya under-20s are referred to. And this is Persian. Persian just punching holes into that Namibian defense. Carried a few more meters forward by Wilhite Mususi. This is Felix Chacha. Furious start from the Kenyans. Joseph Airo. Another run from the Kenyan winger. Continuity from the Kenyans early on, signaling their intent. That was Gabriel Ayimba, son of Kenya Sevens legend, the late Benjamin Ayimba, also part of the squad. Alumnus of the Maseno School, just finished his national exams last month and is donning the Kenyan colors. Persian playing out wide to Matthias Osimbo. He has his eye on the try line but is slowed down. It still is Kenya in possession. Osimbo, well, actually that was Persian driven out into touch. It will be the first line out of the game.
Yes, wait. Il faut donner les numéros, d'accord? Dans les touches. Now we play.
You have to give it to the Malagasy in terms of their defensive discipline. Even as they were under the cosh, ensuring that they do not give away a penalty, because that would have put them again on the back foot and under the threat of conceding points. It will be a scrum down. That line out was defective from the Malagasy. Jerry Manuela Tami Tiana fumbling that line out throw. There's a scrum feed for Kenya. Emmanuel Opondo plays his rugby for the Daystar Falcons. They have just been promoted to the Kenyan second tier, the KRU Championship. He is the man starting this game at scrum half for the Kenyans. The drive is slow and controlled. The ball is at the feet of John Baraka. John Baraka has the try line in sight. He grounds the ball, the opening try of the game. Obviously, the Kenyan under-20s looking to wrap up this tournament on a high. That is a captain's try from John Baraka. See the control, the patience, and eventually the 5 points. But John Baraka yesterday put out a call to the Kenyan public to back Chipu even as they headed into this playoff fixture. And he is certainly living up to his words. But for Madagascar, I'm sure they will have a response. But for now, let us follow this kick from Tony Okech as he looks to extend the lead for the Kenyans. That was an interesting kick from Tony Okech. Extends the lead to 7-0. That is a recap of the try. See, somebody lost their boots there. I'm not too sure if it was a Kenyan or Madagascar player. It was the tight head prop Tahiana Rahari Sami Manana. Ladies and gentlemen, the action started fast and furiously without even an opportunity to introduce myself. I am Michael Kwambo in commentary alongside Ernest. We are looking forward to a great afternoon of rugby, and it continues. It is still furious from the Kenyans, but remember we saw this last year when they started furiously against the Madagascans in the final, only for the Malagasy to mount a comeback and almost win that game. Two teams that are certainly familiar with each other. As Mususi bringing in the captain again, Baraka certainly has shown up this afternoon. This is Id Ganguma. The ball is lost as he went into contact. But it is a penalty. The Malagasy guilty of being offside. Has been an engaging 5 minutes in this fixture.
Scrum call. Ah, c'est en arrière. C'est en arrière. C'est juste dans... Mêlée. Voilà la marque.
So the Kenyans electing to go for the scrum. Obviously, they are looking a lot more stronger than the Malagasy, and certainly trying to use that to their advantage.
Bind. Set. Stable.
This is Baraka, Opondo, Chacha. Support arriving in the form of Airo. That's Opondo, plays it close once again. Zaimba finding the floor. This is a third phase for the Kenyans, certainly putting the Malagasy on the back foot early on. Mwaura. Another searching run from Persian. Opondo plays it to the captain, Baraka. He is being driven back, but the counter-ruck from the Kenyans sees them getting the clean ball. This is Okulo. Presents the ball on the floor for Opondo. Osimbo, Airo has a try line beckoning. Opondo. Chacha just keeping it alive under pressure from the Malagasy. And then that handling error killing the momentum. But doesn't matter, or does it? It is still advantage Kenya, and Ernest Akor. The opening 7 minutes have been fast and furious.
Oh yes, indeed. You've got to like the aggression from the Kenyans, the disappointment, being defending champions and having to play in the third place playoff. They've come out with all intentions and guns blazing, with Captain Baraka touching down within 4 minutes. And now, another opportunity to extend their lead in the same style that he scored that first try.
Certainly for the Kenyans with all the advantage, and another opportunity as Ernest Akor rightfully puts it. It will be another scrum feed here. Emmanuel Opondo. The ball is picked up on the loose by Tyson Maina, just bringing in Felix Chacha. Chacha's on the floor, and that is a second try for the Kenyans. And it is Tyson Maina barging over the whitewash. 12-0 to the Kenyans with the conversion to come. But certainly a statement of intent here from the outgoing champions. They may be out of contention for the title, but they want to leave with a big statement. That was Felix Chacha with that carry. And then Tyson Maina going over the whitewash. 12-0, and the tries coming from the Kenyan forwards, Ernest.
Oh yeah, Tyson Maina there, very, very good awareness in front of the uprights to realize that there's no one watching the fringe, and a quick ball out presented to him. He just picked it and dived over the whitewash. It's going to be some work for Madagascar to ensure that they don't get caught in the big carries, but then also in watching those small spaces which the big players are finding their way through.
Indeed, and everything not going according to the way the Malagasy wanted. And I remember in a chat with Elijah Toili just before kickoff saying that with the weather conditions in Nairobi currently making for wet ball, the Kenyans would be at the disadvantage because of Madagascar's quick offload game. But so far, 10 minutes into the match, it is the Kenyans leading 14-0. 2 tries from their forwards, number 7 and 8, Tyson Maina, and the captain, John Baraka. This is Matthias Osimbo. The show and go from Osimbo, presenting that ball. It is kept alive by Gabriel Ayimba. Persian just lowers his shoulder as he goes into contact. Ball is played out wide. Mwaura bringing in his support players. This is Tony Okech carrying that ball into the Malagasy 22, but he lost it as he went to ground. So another scrum feed. This match has started at 100 kilometers per hour for the Kenyans. Malagasy, on the other hand, still trying to find their footing in this game. Coming into this fixture with a changed lineup from the side that fell 32-3 to Zimbabwe in the semi-final on Wednesday. And they are certainly finding themselves under the coach. But they do have that excellent footwork there as displayed. The speculative kick downfield is only fielded by Dave Mwangi. This is Matthias Osimbo, full of running this afternoon, taking on the Malagasy at their own game. Opondo bringing in Aswani. Aswani to the floor. This is Nick Okulo. Okulo again finds the floor as the referee plays the advantage. Opondo. And that is the advantage. The penalty is against the Malagasy. They will also need to keep their discipline because a lot happens when you're under this incessant pressure. It is easy to lose your heads and head into a lot more infringements. Tony Okech cuts a figure of concentration as he strokes that ball between the sticks. 17-0, 12 minutes played here at the Nyayo National Stadium. It is a cold afternoon, typical Easter weather in Nairobi. There was a bit of a light drizzle moments ago, certainly changing what has been a hot few days to a cooler afternoon. John Baraka with that glaring handling error, but remember, I just mentioned something about the rain having fallen over the Nyayo Stadium turf moments ago. Bit of wet ball there, but also for John Baraka just taking his eye off the ball for a minute. That handling error, cheap for a man of John Baraka's caliber. The Kenyans will be defending from this scrum down. This, I believe, is Madagascar's second foray into the Kenyan half. They are struggling to get that ball out and get it out quickly. But we know what they can do when they find themselves in possession. They're full of running, as indicated there. That was Zachary Alan Jose Tojoniaina. Just threatening down that left flank for the Malagasy. This is a good moment of play for the Malagasy. The ball is lost, and that was Id Ganguma just looking to embark on a run towards the try line. It will be a Kenyan feed from this scrum down.
First attacking foray of Madagascar, first realistic attack for Madagascar in this half. And you can see that they're a bit slow to get into the game. But then just a quick ball out to their backs, and the backs were ready to express themselves. They look like they had been waiting a long time to get a part of this action. And as their forwards are trying to contain the Kenyans forwards, I think the back line will be their striking point as the longer we go into this game.
Definitely, and the work is upon the Kenyans to deny the Malagasy clean feed to their backline. This is a big drive from the Kenyan forwards, just driving the Malagasy back to their half, and then another handling error. And this is some more hard running from the Malagasy. That is Fidisoa Razanaparani. The delivery is claimed, and this is a good continuity. Rasoa Ranton Lirina carries that ball a few more meters forward. Penalty advantage to the Malagasy. It is in front of the sticks and inside of the Kenyan 22. An opportunity for them to get their first points on the board, and they certainly are going to do that.
First visit to the 22 for the Malagasy, and they have an opportunity. They've made the decision to go for points, and I think, like I was saying earlier, the backs will be their strong foot, because that carry at the wing by Zachary was just very, very good to keep them on the front foot, and catching the Kenyan defense retreating, it had them the penalty advantage, and now an opportunity to get their game started with some valuable points.
And they get those valuable points on the board, cutting the deficit to 14 points. Current scores 17-3. And remember this, as Ernest Akor mentioned moments ago, their first visit into the Kenyan 22. And they emerge with 3 points. But it's taken them all of 16 minutes to get into a rhythm after that very furious start by the Kenyans. The Kenyans were 14-0 up after 9 minutes of play. 2 converted tries. Tries scored by John Baraka and Tyson Maina. And from that restart, it is fielded by the Malagasy. And this is the scrum of Cedric Romaroson. He's playing it downfield. Another big kick. Is it going to trouble the Kenyan back three? No, it isn't. The handling errors. This is a third successive handling error for Kenya, Ernest.
Third successive handling error, but then it's the 6th in total compared to one just for the Malagasy. And one might think that the Kenyans are playing a wet ball while the Malagasy are getting a towel to dry the ball before they put their hands on it. And I think it's more about that split second in making your decision about what will happen when I get the ball, instead of thinking about how to get the ball first.
And do you think that it's a case of the nerves beginning to creep into the Kenyans again? Because we saw them literally nerved out of that match against Namibia.
No, it isn't. I think the pressure, if anything, is coming from within the Kenyan camp. This playing in the third place playoff match is not where they would have loved to be. So I think they've set some high targets for themselves in this game. But that pressure to hit them is what is building up so much. And I think they will need some to open the valves a little bit so they can get back to the good start that they had.
Indeed, and probably this is an opportunity. Opondo plays in Wilhite Mususi. Carries that ball 2 meters forward. Mwaura with the delivery to Osimbo, the dummy from Osimbo. He's looking for support. He has it in the form of Dave Mwangi. Dave Mwangi carries that ball into the Malagasy half. This is John Aswani. Goes to the floor but presents the ball. Okech. Mususi has a man in support. Carries that ball into the 22. This is Opondo. Okulo dances past one. Bumps off a second. Carries that ball 2 meters forward. Opondo bringing in his support player. There was a hint of accidental offside. Yes, there was. But there was also obstruction by the Malagasy. The penalty is with the Kenyans. They continue to drive forward. Has been an eventful 20 minutes. And the yellow card there is issued to a Kenyan player. We will confirm who it is in a moment. It is the fly half. It is... We actually will confirm who has been yellow carded. It is the Malagasy player. Man in shirt number 4, Todiso Randria Masina Valona. So Todiso Randria Masina Valona will spend the next 10 minutes in the bin.
And yet again, you can see the ferocious Kenyan pack continuing to move forward, and it is that quick rack speed that Emmanuel Opondo is playing that is catching them offside time and time again. And they were lucky there that there was an obstruction, but another quick restart catches them offside, and someone had to go to the bin.
Close. Bind. Set.
It is a scrum feed for the Kenyans, and again just looking to drive it. Is this another opportunity for John Baraka to grab his brace? No, it isn't. And again the handling errors creeping up in the Kenyan ranks. That ball is loose, and anybody's ball for that matter. Booted out into touch. And it is quite difficult defending when you are 14 against 15 men of Kenya. But the Malagasy, I'm sure, will be able to weather this storm.
And you know, as we've seen in many international tournaments and some other national tournaments outside of the African tournament, that when a team is down a man, it's like they've upped the tempo in their defense, and it's probably even harder, like we see in this sequence of play, it's even harder to score against a team that has 14 men. But Kenya now, with the advantage in the line-out, can continue to attack and put some more points on the board.
And they again carry that ball into the Malagasy 22, but Felix Chacha lost it as he went to ground. Just losing that momentum. Remember, the Malagasy down to 14 men for the next 7 minutes. Todisoa Randria Masina Valona is in the sin bin. This is Tony Okech. Actually, David Mwangi static there, but eventually gets the ball going. Tyson Maina just fending off his opponent. Kenyans arriving in numbers to secure the ruck. Nick Okulo carries that ball another meter forward. Has men in support. The Malagasy looking to force the turnover, but they don't. Okech, Baraka fending off the tackle, goes to ground. Mwaura with the kick behind the Malagasy defense. It is a foot race, goes out into touch. It will be a line out. The Malagasy looking for the quick line out, but it won't be happening. Great awareness by the Kenyans to just impede any quick intentions that the Malagasy had.
Green line out. Allez, touche faire.
It will be a Malagasy line out throw.
Combien dans le touche? Combien dans le touche? 6. Please wait, wait. Wait. Open a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
This is Jerry Manuela Mami Tahiana with the Lion throw, but it is short. He is driven into touch. If you're joining us, this is match day 3 in the Rugby Africa Barthes Under 20 trophy, the African Under 20 Championships. It has been ongoing in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, kicked off on the 9th of April with direct quarterfinals. The semi-finals were played on Wednesday, and today we're into the final day. We've already had the classification matches earlier on, and we are heading into the title decider later this afternoon. Is the Kenyans still within striking range, deep in Malagasy territory? Imba finding the floor, bringing in Chacha. Direct running from the Kenyan inside center. And this is Osimbo. Simbo, the ball is tapped back. A bit of fancy play there. But eventually, it will still be the Kenyans in possession.
4 penalties conceded by Madagascar in these first 25 minutes or so, all kickable points. And this is the second opportunity this is the second time that Tony Okech has opted to go for points. The first 2 were scrums, and that's where the 2 tries came from. Then the next time they got a kickable penalty, they went for points. And I think this second time will probably be a duplicate of what happened in the first one.
Certainly, I'm sure they have learnt the lessons from that semi-final defeat to Namibia, when they had several penalties within striking range, but instead of opting for the 3, elected to either run the ball or engage in scrum downs against the Namibians. This is Tony Okech cutting a figure of concentration. Certainly has come to express himself. He is all businesslike as Sinbin continues to run down. Tony Okech taking Kenya into the 20s. Current scores 23. Current scores 23 in favor of Kenya. They are certainly in the ascendancy. Ganguma. This is Opondo. Opondo brings in Mwaura. And that is a darting run from Okech. A change of direction, just beating one man. He has a man in support. Osimbo. Osimbo, ball in 2 hands, looking for support. The offload, and this is going to be a try for Gabriel Ayimba. A try literally out of nothing. Ernest, the Kenyans producing a Madagascar-esque kind of try.
I think this could be among the top 3 tries we've seen in this tournament. Very well received at the kick restart. They set up quick ball out to the backs, and that break from Tony Okech into space. Tony Okech with 2 men on the outside finds Osimbo, who has been outstanding this tournament, with ball in 2 hands. Not sure where he's going to go, where he's going to pass, and that beautiful chicken wing pass to set up Ayimba for a very beautiful try under the uprights.
Certainly, that is a forwards try. Gabriel Ayimba with the try there. That was brilliant running support from the Kenyans, cooking up that try deep in their half. And that is something that you would see with the Malagasy, but the Kenyans replicating that, much to the excitement of the crowd here at the Nyayo National Stadium. Tony Okech, the creator of that try, kicks for goal, but his conversion attempt is wide. The scores remain 25-3. As you just see this once again, that was Osimbo. And like we said, there's Osimbo, ball in two hands. It always will trouble your opposing players. And then Gabriel Ayimba. He's a big boy, Gabriel Ayimba. And going over the whitewash there. And again attacking from the loose. This is Joseph Airo. A change of direction. Airo keeps his feet. Malagasy just looking to disrupt the rhythm of the Kenyans. Opondo caught up in a spot of bother, but does well to clean it up. This is Mususi. Mususi is not one we expect to dance, and therefore he will use the route one option. Maina, Moura. This is Ayimba again. Pass out wide to Dave Mwangi. Dave Mwangi running on the touchline. Dave Mwangi again going to score under the sticks. The Kenyans are into the 30s. Certainly ripping the Malagasy to shreds here at the Nyayo National Stadium.
They are enjoying themselves, aren't they? I think when you look at this formation, a 1-3-3-1 formation that the Kenyans are playing, a break on the blind side to put the winger into space, and that from that point forward, Kenyans were always in the front foot. The Malagasy trying to retreat, but there wasn't enough time. And how did Mwangi beat his outside man? Just a small fend on the shoulder, and he was into open space to score the next try. What a move! What a play from the Kenyans.
Certainly, as they look to end this competition on a high. Obviously keen to put behind the disappointment of that semi-final defeat on Wednesday. Tony Okech looking for the 2 extra points. Okech again unable to get the extras for Kenya. 33. Indeed, that has been an expensive sin bin for the Malagasy, conceding 13 points. Now was the moment. You have to give it to Dave Mwangi, showing that situational awareness, aware that the try line was beckoning, but also that he was running on the touch line. And just ensuring that he doesn't step out into touch, and then just turning on that little hint of speed to get 5 more points for the Kenyans. The Malagasy are back to their full complement of 15 players. But certainly, as has been mentioned, that sin bin, very expensive, conceding 13 points in 10 minutes. That their lock forward, Todisoa Randria Masina Valona, was in the sin bin. Opondo, Mususi. This is Chacha once again. Airo arriving in support. Baraka at scrum half. Mususi making a nuisance of himself. It takes 3 to stop him, but he still presents the ball. Moura does well to keep that ball as he was about to run into traffic. Catch. Osimbo. Opondo brings in Persian. Alvis Persian plays for the Menengai Oilers in Nakuru. And this is Aswani just taking out 2 Malagasy defenders. Catch. Chacha keeping it short for Waura. But that ball traveled forward. Advantage Madagascar. They certainly are feeling the heat from the Kenyans.
Oh yeah, very, very strong defense from the Malagasy. Big carries from the Kenyan forwards. But it is that forward pass, the flat ball into space as the backs were setting up an inside ball, is what has, the inside ball to Okech is what has given Madagascar a get out of jail free card and an opportunity for them to clear their lines, and then maybe they can start to play again.
Certainly, it has been torrid for the Malagasy over the 32 minutes played of this half so far. Will they be able to get into a rhythm? That is a big question. Will they be able to get into playing their game, as Ernest Akor has mentioned? Heading into the final 8 minutes of the half. And that kick downfield, eventually fielded by Tony Okech. Not the best of deliveries to Osimbo. Osimbo with some soccer skills there to just keep the ball alive. And then Airo plays at fullback for the Strathmore Leos in the Kenyan top tier, the Kenya Cup. His sister Bridget Oluche is a Kenya Lionesses international and was part of the squad that played at the Tokyo Olympics last year. Mwaura's kick is charged down. This is more of the Malagasy that we know. That follow-up kick just a tad too long there for Fano Rakoto Nandrasana. And the Kenyans are let off there. Maybe a hint of complacency creeping in. And they will be lucky to execute this 22-meter drop kick and just get that ball out of their half. Tony Okech with the kick downfield. There's fielded by the Malagasy, but the Kenyans arriving in numbers there. It's Gabriel Ayimba, one of the Kenyan try scorers. Mwaura this time fields the ball. Has numbers arriving. Is open, anybody's ball. But the Kenyans doing well to secure that ruck. This is Persian. Opondo. Plays in Mususi. You notice one thing with the Malagasy, assigning 2 men to Mususi every time he carries that ball. That's Okech, a delayed pass, and then Osimbo. Searching run and another beautiful offload from the Kenyan outside center. The ball is on the loose. This is Okech dancing past one, keeping it alive. Referee playing the advantage, but eventually the Kenyans are penalized. That was Okech guilty of holding on, not releasing that ball. That take there, again, anybody's ball. The Malagasy forcing the turnover and looking to get their quick backs in motion. That's commitment in the tackle from Airo. Picture there, Joseph Airo, Kenya under-20 international. There's a scrum. Actually, it was tapped there by the scrum half for Madagascar, Philibert Cedric Romaroson. That is a pass out wide from Fiononana Rakotoson. And this is another rangy run from Fano Rakoto Nandrasana. It's a beautiful take from the Malagasy. This is a searching run once again, and this is the captain, Rojosoa Randria Manantena. Eventually the try is scored under the posts, and it is the man in shirt number 11, Ziaro Nyaina Michel Rakoto Adrijana Noah. Name is a handful, but we just managed to pronounce it.
Oh, I've seen beautiful tries today, but I think this could be better than the ones that the Kenyans scored. Look at that, the Kenyan press just on that edge. The flyer recognizes that there's that space where one of the players had not pressed, and he hits that gap, turns the corner, and he was behind the line. And at that point, with 2 men in support, there was no way the Malagasy were going to be denied from scoring.
Certainly, and this is the game that we have been expecting from the Malagasy. It's taken them all of 38 minutes, but eventually finding that rhythm and playing the kind of rugby that we know them to play. And the kick at goal went through the sticks. It is now 20 points separating the two teams. Will be a restart for the Kenyans. 37 minutes played here at the Nyayo National Stadium. This is the 3rd place playoff in the Rugby Africa Under-20 Barthes Trophy. Kenya 30, Madagascar 10. Coming up at 4:30 will be the final between Zimbabwe and Namibia. That match will be here, so if you want to go and do something else, please don't. There still is a lot more rugby action coming up.
Very good recovery from Madagascar after that yellow card. They conceded 13 points with a man down for 10 minutes, and they've since recovered to score a converted try and get their game going. I think at full strength, they will be a force to reckon with, and it's not going to be just a walkover as we had thought Kenya would be after that strong start.
Certainly. And this ball is fielded by Dave Mwangi. Kenyans arriving in numbers. Opondo bringing in Tyson Minor. The contest on the floor is eventually claimed by the Kenyans. This is Mususi. Brings in Osimbo. Osimbo to Aimba. Aimba on the floor, struggling to present that ball. Once again, guilty of the infringement. Curtis Olago and Kevin Wambua, ever animated. And question here in the commentary booth is, how do those two survive? Never a dull moment between the two, Curtis Olago and Kevin Wambua, the Kenyan coaching team. A ball again being carried down that flank. The Malagasy looking to stretch the Kenyan defenders. That ball goes into the end goal area. Actually goes beyond the end goal area, goes dead. It will be another 22-meter drop kick for the Kenyans.
Something to note in the Malagasy defense, they've done a lot of defending so far, is that they have recognized that the Kenyans are arriving late at the breakdown, and it has since given them 3 turnovers in this game, which is very, very precious possession one from Kenyans, who are very, very good at handling the ball.
Well, that promising moment of play for the Kenyans is cancelled out by the referee's whistle. And actually he takes the ball, signals for halftime. Has been a fast-paced half. Played in good cheer by both sides. And it is the Kenyans taking the lead, the massive lead into the break. Has been a tale of the Kenyans starting at a very high pace before the Malagasy eventually taking advantage to come back. Halftime score 30-10 in favor of Kenya. We will catch you on the other side of halftime.
We have enjoy what's happening as we head to the halftime break, courtesy of DJ Dana.
DJ Dana.
Kenani baba, kenani mama, umenitunga na kupenda sana. Jamhuri Day.
What an entertaining game of rugby we've had. The first 40 minutes is down the line. Kenya under 20 rugby team Chipu are one leg into the bronze final, having beaten up to the 40th minute. They have beaten their opponents, who are also looking for a chance here. That is none other than Madagascar, 30 points to 10. What a game that one has been. John Baraka, the captain, starting and leading as a captain with a try. And then there was an emotional try there by Gabriel Ayimba, the son of Kenya, former Kenya Sevens head coach Benjamin Ayimba with a tie. And Tony Okech had one assignment to convert all the penalties, and he has really done well up to the 40th minute. Now joining me is Alex Jue to help me talk about this game up to the 40th minute. Alex, we've had a good game. The boys went back and regrouped. They had a reset and also a planning for this bronze final. Your reaction up to the 40th minute, Ro?
Team Kenya played well. They controlled the game, and they also played in the Madagascar's half majority for majority of the time, and as a result, Kenya got 4 tries, 2 conversions and 2 penalties to lead by 30 points against 10.
We talked about John Baraka having the first try of the game.
Yes.
He was led by example, and the conversion also has been very, very perfect. Even as we look at the highlights, the boys have had a good game so far in terms of the urge to go over the whitewash and also get as many points as far as the game is concerned, because we just don't know what might happen in the second half.
Coming in the second half, Kenyan forwards are still going to be problematic to the Madagascar's defense. As you saw from the scratch of the game, John Baraka, the captain, led by example, very, very inspirational. He pulled a try off a rolling scrum down, and Tony Okech gave us the conversion to give us a clear 7-0 lead. And
then talk about David Mwangi also going over the whitewash. He has also had a good tournament as far as the quarters and the semis is concerned. And then looking at now a player like Gabriel Ayimba also being over the whitewash, and we had Tyson Maina also being over the whitewash. These are players who've shown that right now Kenya is not settling for anything less than the 3rd place and also the bronze.
Yes, of course, Kenya is going for the 3rd place. Having seen how Kenya has played in the first half, they've really demoralized Madagascar. And coming back in this half, Madagascar just be playing to try and maybe do a catch-up fast, but trailing by 20 points is not will not be an easy thing for them to do.
But even as we look at this Madagascar side, Alex, we can just say that if they become clinical, because one, from the Kenyan side, they've not been very, very perfect in ball handling. Yes. We've seen there has been a lot of them losing concentration, and also that has led to the first try that Madagascar got in this game. And in between, they've really built. Is it that the boys have not had an opportunity to correct the errors they had in the semis that made them lose that opportunity to be in the finals, losing against Namibia? From the look of the first half, they had the errors. We can agree on that, and they need to correct them come the second half.
Yes, Kenya did make some errors in the first half, including wrong decisions. We had an opportunity here to go for 3 points, but we instead chose to go for a scrum because we believed that we were stronger. And indeed, we were stronger than them because we shoved them. We almost got the try line, but we fumbled the ball, and that was not a good expression of our team.
And even as we look at the Maki side, yes, they've also had the errors in their defense, allowing Kenya to go over the whitewash over 2 times. And also, they've shown that they are having the urge, the spirit of just pushing Kenya to the wall. But up to this particular point, they haven't gotten. What should they do to change the results come the second half?
Madagascar is not a pushover side, and they also had some opportunities, but unfortunately, they only managed to score only 1 penalty and a try and a conversion. 10 points against Kenya is not easy. You can ask Uganda.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alex. We are crossing over to the ground for the second half.
Thank you very much, Chris Mwigwambo, with that analysis. We are back for the second half of this third place playoff in the Rugby Africa Barthes Trophy. It is Kenya and Madagascar battling for the bronze medal. Halftime score saw Kenya take a 20-point lead. Current scores 30-10 in favor of the Kenya under-20s, popularly called Chipu, which is short for the Swahili word chipukizi, while Madagascar, the junior marquis, taking on Kenya and looking to, of course, also end this tournament on a high. This is a carry, not a carry really, but a drive from the Kenyan forwards, picked up from the back of the scrum by Tyson Maina, who slots into the number 8 position. This is Persian. Menengai Oilers lock, just carrying that ball forward. Not a good delivery, but still fielded by Felix Chacha. Releasing as Joseph Airo loses that ball forward as he went to the floor.
Line out.
That knock-on really just
Big thank you to all our
slowing
corporate
down the
partners.
momentum of the Kenyans.
Ministry of Sports,
And Mr.
Culture
Kor,
and Heritage.
what do Kenya have to do to stay in the lead, and
Sports,
what do Madagascar
Arts and
have to do
Social
to usurp the
Development
Kenyans
Fund.
and stay in contention for the bronze medal?
Coca-Cola.
More of the same for the Kenyans,
Rugby
pounding
Africa.
and pounding and pounding through the middle. The Malagasy will
Sports
reach a point,
Kenya.
I believe, and they will open up.
Tate Sisal.
Malagasy, on the other hand, can ensure
Last but not
that they
least,
stay in this
ladies and
game by
gentlemen,
one,
media
working on their
months.
discipline, and then also
Beaming these
getting their
games
backs
live
into
across
play
the globe
and using that skill
on
that
the
we know them for,
K24
that
Plus
offloading
app.
kind of game, which has enabled them to score the 10 points.
And that ball is booted deep into Kenyan territory, but Tony Okech calling for the mark. The resultant free kick is taken quickly. Tony Okech, solo run from the Kenyan fullback, presents the ball on the floor. As Ernest Akor said, the Kenyans late to the breakdown, but still showing up anyway. This is Winston Masharia on as a second half replacement. This is the captain, John Baraka, finding the floor. And Persian, big carry from the big man. Kenyans have an overlap, but Nick Okulo going into contact. Opondo, change of direction, bringing in Id Ganguma. Didn't immediately field that ball as he would have desired to, but he keeps it alive. This is Baraka, the captain. Kenyans sniffing the Malagasy 22. Change of direction from Opondo. Just attacking that pocket there is a Persian. Opondo, Okech, Osimbo, Ayimba, and then rather casual from Osimbo there. He has been perfect all afternoon. That, I believe, is his first error of the match. And it turns over possession to the Malagasy.
The Kenyans there are looking a little bit off cue, especially the backs. The forwards are at a high tempo. The backs are yet to get into this game, and that walking pace and that, I could say, relaxed sort of play has led them to give away possession of the ball. I think that the backs expected the forwards to continue playing, and then at the point when they received the ball, a bit more relaxed, trying to set it up, and that necessary offload has led to the turnover.
Of course, and as we saw that turnover, we're also witnessing a change of weather. The sun just beginning to kiss the turf here at the Nyayo National Stadium, probably going to make for a great final between Zimbabwe and Namibia later on this afternoon. Mwaura, this is Maina. Chacha is taking out his man with that big hit, finds the floor. Opondo. And then Persian, what a line break from Persian. And then a litany of handling errors, but that was a beautiful line break from Persian. Just loved his line speed heading into the receipt of that ball.
Yeah, you know, at the training ground, one of the basic things that they teach you while training is to attack the ball, and that angle towards the ball, but just off the outside shoulder of your opponent, will always put you in space. And if your scrum half gives you that inch perfect pass, just flat or just to the back, you'll always find your way behind the defensive line.
Certainly. That was Persian finding himself behind the Malagasy defensive line, but unfortunately, a litany of handling errors there, seeing the Kenyans cede possession to the Malagasy. Well, actually, it is a Kenyan feed from the scrum down. And this is Opondo, Chacha, Mwaura, Okech, Mwangi just, again, struggling. That delivery, not the best, and Kenyans are on the back foot. This is another opportunity for the Malagasy, running at full pace, and this is going to be a second try for the Malagasy. No, they are stopped short of the Kenyan try line, but we can see the pace and precision with which the Malagasy can play. They are sniffing the Kenyan try line, and they get their 5 points. They were not to be denied. The initial line break from
Nandrasana getting their second,
eventually resulting in a try by the man in shirt number 20, Alain Rakotovao, going over the whitewash, cutting the deficit to 15 points with
Kenya,
the conversion to come.
30.
Oh, what a break, man. You look at 15. The way the Malagasy are playing before Fano Rakoto gets that ball. It's a big man running in Bavadu, Rakoto Salama. Very good carry. And then he puts his tight head forward into space to go for the corner. Very tight defense from the Kenyans at their line. But the Malagasy were not going to be denied at this point. And it's full 5 points for them.
Presence of the principal secretary, the
Never a dull day when these two sides meet. Shades of last season's 21-20 victory all over again here at the Nyayo National Stadium. The conversion sails wide. It remains 15 points, the buffer between the two sides here at the Nyayo National Stadium. This is Rugby Africa Under 20 Barthes Trophy match day 3 action.
Conversion was unsuccessful.
That was the moment the Malagasy went over for the 5 points. Alain Rakotovao
Madagascar, 15.
Getting that try. Tony Okech with the restart is fielded. That looked like a high tackle, and very likely the referee will be decisive in his action, but kudos to the referee. He has let this game flow. We were just doing our timings, and he let the first half run for 40 minutes and 48 seconds, whistle to whistle. It was a game that was incident-free in the first half. A lot of the errors beginning to creep in on both sides early second half. Will be a scrum down in the middle of the park. And what we've witnessed this afternoon has been very clean scrums from both sides. This is another big drive from the Kenyan forwards, having the Malagasy on the back foot. And this is the first scrum penalty of the match. Probably is the commentator's curse, because we had been talking about how clean these scrums have been. And from this one, Tony Okech will be looking for territory. That was a very intense start from the Kenyans, racing to a 33 lead, but they've conceded 12 points. And certainly, even as the tournament comes to a close, they will have to review how they conceded those 12 points, allowing the Malagasy back into the game. Kudos to the Malagasy, though. They have shown up here, not giving up even when they trailed by 27 points. They make for an interesting 30 minutes that still remain in this fixture. From that line out, the ball is lost to the Malagasy. The referee has called for the infringement.
Very smart defending there from Madagascar. They recognize the fact that the Kenyans are trying to set up a driving maul, and so they do not contest. Once the jumper is brought to the ground, tackle is made, and he's exposed, turnover was successful. And that holding on to the ball ensures that in as much as they got the ball, they have the advantage with the feed on the scrum.
Certainly, as play continues here, it will be a scrum feed for the Malagasy. An opportunity for them to exit their territory. The Kenyans are penalized, and from the free kick quickly taken, that ball is again booted downfield. They have probably also noticed the Kenyan struggles in fielding the high ball, but not at this particular moment. Joseph Oiro going into contact. Ipondo. This is the captain, John Baraka, just going past one man, bringing in Felix Chacha, being used as a battering ram by the Kenyans. Opondo. Kenyans looking to stretch the Malagasy defense. Persian. And then Ayimba with the reverse pass. A tad too fancy there and killing the momentum that was just beginning to build.
Mwangi didn't expect that ball there, but he needs to stay more awake to ensure that he's in the right place at the right time to receive those very good passes from the men on his inside. But as we've noticed, at this point in the first half, 10 minutes in the first half, Kenya already had 17 points on the board. It is the second half, and Madagascar are the only ones that have been able to put points on the board. I think it is game on in the remaining minutes, in the remaining 30 minutes or so of this half.
And from this line-out throw, the Malagasy retaining possession. Beginning to see a lot more of the ball. That is Guy Ernest Henri Nandra Naivo. Thiorio Neaina Michel Rakoto goes to the floor. Another kick downfield, noticing that pocket hadn't been adequately covered by the Kenyans, but eventually Dave Mwangi finding himself in possession, looking for support. Ball in two hands from Dave Mwangi, slicing run from the winger. Numbers arriving for the Kenyans at the ruck. This is the captain, John Baraka. This is Persian, has been rather influential for the Kenyans. The ball is lost on the tackle. The Malagasy, with their quick offload game, will be looking to pressure the Kenyans. A big drive from their forwards, having the Kenyans on the back foot. Philberry Cedric Romaroson is looking for that ball. The referee will call for the first infringement, and it will be advantage Madagascar.
Come back to the knock-on. You must just engage, not push, please. You must just engage. Don't.
And remember, this match taking place on Easter Sunday. And we just like to take this opportunity to wish our viewers of the Christian faith a happy Easter. And do hope that you are enjoying the rugby that is coming to you live from the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. Remember, this is Rugby Africa Under-20 Barthes Trophy Match Day 3 action. The final day of the competition. It began with the classification finals this morning. Zambia defeating Cote d'Ivoire to finish 7th. Uganda losing to Tunisia in the 5th place playoff. Currently ongoing is the 3rd place playoff between Kenya and Madagascar. It is the Kenyans in the red, green and white leading the Malagasy, who are in the green strip, by 30 points to 15. And from that line out again, the Malagasy playing it short. Quick movement there. Tyson Maina committing himself in the tackle. But it's still the Malagasy in possession, even though they are under pressure from the Kenyans. Kick downfield, and you can see the Malagasy have elected to look for territory, but they are struggling with their territorial kicks. This is Joseph Airo finding himself in a spot of bother as he looks to present that ball. Eventually it is cleaned up by Opondo. This is Baraka. John Baraka, strong feet from the Kenyan captain. Opondo, Mwaura, Osimbo. That looked dangerous indeed, and the referee was on the scene. The referee, I'm sure, will need some time to reflect on this phase of play. Let's just see that again. Simbo was dangerous indeed from the Malagasy number 17, Benevu Rakoto Salama. Benevu Rakoto Salama probably will be spending the next 10 minutes in the bin. Ayman Jirji issues the yellow card to
a little bit of consultation with the center referee.
Malagasy player. He will spend the next 10 minutes in the bin. I could be wrong, but
to the scene being
is the wrong player who has been yellow carded. I'm sure there is going to be a review.
Medical replacement for the Kenya under 20.
And let's just hear from Ernest Akor.
Judging from the replays, we have the privilege of having replays on the screen, which he doesn't have there.
Tyson Juma.
For a fact that the player supposed to be spending the next 10 minutes in the bin is Bienvenu Rakoto Salama. It's very, very lucky, a case of mistaken identity, and he's lucky to get away with his crime that he has committed in broad daylight.
Certainly. And so the man in the bin is Fano Rakoto Nandrasana. We also Bienevu Rakoto Salama pull off that tackle. Anyway, we shall continue with commentary. That ball traveled forward. Well, if the first half was frenetic, the second half has been one where it has ebbed and flowed. Not as free-flowing and as frenetic as the first half. And the Kenyans raced into a 14-0 lead after 9 minutes and led 30 points to 3 after 27 minutes. And from base of the scrum, that ball booted downfield by Fidisoa Razana Parani. And this is Tony Okech, slicing run once again from the Kenyan fullback. Counteract there from the Malagasy is good. Opondo just inadvertently forcing the turnover for the Kenyans, and then ball bouncing off the chest of Willite Mususi.
Yet again, like we were mentioning in the first half, it is happening again in the second half. Madagascar are quick at the breakdown. Tackler makes the tackle, rolls away, the ball is open, and the very next player has his hands on the ball to earn their fourth turnover as compared to Kenya's one in this game.
Certainly, and we have all of 25 minutes to see if the Kenyans will still be able to respond to the quickness of the Malagasy at the breakdown. Another scrum feed for the Kenyans, Emmanuel Opondo. The ball is at the feet of the Kenyan number 8. This is Opondo. There's Mauro with the pass out wide. Chacha. Sairo determined as he goes to the floor. Then Winston Masharia coming in as a replacement for John Aswani. Good ball movement. It's a brilliant take from Stanislaus Shikoli on as a replacement as well. Mususi. The ball is kept alive by the Kenyans. It's good ball movement. Ayimba. Ayimba breaking past one, breaking past two. Gabriel Ayimba presenting that ball on the floor. Mokoro and Persian. Persian, does he get his try? Persian goes over the right wash.
Kenya.
Just reward for the hard-working Kenyan lock. Elvis Persian Kolyan.
Elvis Kolyan Persian
Going over the whitewashers. Kenya now lead by 35 points to 15. Continuity from the Kenyans. And then this line break from Ayimba. Let's just see that as he goes into the 22. Has the awareness to present the ball on the floor. Mukoro bringing in the hard-working Persian. He was not going to be denied. And remember, Persian's line speed and line breaks once again proving to be dangerous. That angled run getting 5 more points for the Kenya under-20s.
Very good play, and just simple basics there by Mukoro to attack the ball and run at the gap. At that angle, on a weak shoulder for an opponent, it's very hard to stop a tight forward, and he's over for the try. A very beautiful try. I love seeing big men running into space and going over for the try.
Indeed, and that big man has been rewarded with the 5 points. Tony Okech to add the 2. He does. Takes the Kenyans to 37 points, and after a rather turgid start to the second half, could this be the moment that the game again bubbles into life? Remember, we saw a very frenetic first half. The second half began rather tentatively, but let's just see that from Gabriel Ayimba. He has certainly put in a big shift this afternoon. And then that angled run from Persian, he was never going to be denied. This is Elvis Persian proving to be a nuisance to the Malagasy. The penalty advantage is with the Kenyans. Mukoro with the quick tap. And that ball almost lost by Okulo. And then taking out his opponent. Rasolo Foniaina finds the floor rather unwillingly after that big hit from Nicholas Okulo. This is Stanislaus Shikoli, another big boy on for the Kenyans. Just looking to raise the intensity heading into the final 20 minutes. Ganguma beating one man. Ganguma cantering to the try line. Not the fastest of players, and playing the ball to the least flexible of players there, Nicholas Okulo. The ball was low, and he was always going to struggle trying to pick up that low pass from Ganguma.
Big man running, another big man running. This time it's at the front row. But then you feel like he could have been more patient to wait to offload that ball to his tight forward running onto the ball, and they lose possession of that ball. But man, that's some expression of a front row at full pace.
Indeed, and a front row at full pace is something you wouldn't want to encounter. Reminds me of the great KCB captain from days gone by, Derrick Omalwa. And before him, other Kenyan greats like Kiki Onyonka, who you wouldn't want to meet at full pace. In our picture there, the Kenyan Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Culture and Heritage, Ambassador Amina Mohamed. She has been, of course, a great supporter of sport in the country, and through her ministry, they have given a lot of support to this event, including ensuring that the Nyayo National Stadium is available to host this continental showpiece for the next generation of African rugby stars. The Rugby Africa Under-20 Barthes Trophy, which kicked off on the 9th of April and which will be coming to an end this afternoon with the final when Zimbabwe and Namibia clash. Remember, this is the second last game on match day 3, and it is certainly worth the entertainment and worth the Sunday afternoon. 20 minutes still to play. Tony Okech will be looking for territory from this penalty. This is Ed Ganguma. And the Kenyans be playing it short. Well, they play it to Shikoli. And the Malagasy guilty of the infringement there. It will be a penalty for the Kenyans. Okech again going for the line out. Remember, the Kenyans have the numbers in the line out even as the sin bin for the Malagasy comes to an end. Player will probably be introduced after this phase of play. Anytime Malagasy are down to 14 men, it proves to be expensive. This time they've conceded 7 points from that try by Elvis Persian. Another penalty to the Kenyans, and the indiscipline beginning to creep into the Madagascar ranks. This is Okech, and you can see the Kenyans playing to the textbook instructions of their head coach Curtis Olago. This is Ed Ganguma, plays for the South Coast Pirates in the Kenyan second tier. South Coast Pirates located in Ukunda, resort town in the Kenyan coast. This ball is plucked from the air by Ayimba, then Mususi carries that ball just past the 5-meter mark. It's another big and furious drive from the Kenyans. Mokoro, Mususi once again. The Malagasy are on the back foot. Mokoro, referee playing the offside advantage as Macharia just becomes the latest Kenyan ball carrier to go to the floor. It's a bit of acrobaticism there from Mokoro, but still the ball is presented. Shikoli, it takes 3 Malagasy players to bring him to the floor, but the Kenyans still have the ball. Okulo with the try line in sight. Okulo finds the floor again. Malagasy will have to keep their heads. The referee is still playing the advantage. This is Winston Macharia, goes over for the try. 42-15. Winston Macharia with his second try in this tournament takes the score to 42-15.
12 visits to the 22, and the Kenyan Chipu are nearly hitting the half-century mark. But then there, this specific try, pounding and pounding and pounding. And then when the Malagasy were expecting that PD carry, the player just off onto the ball carriers on the side, catches the defense snapping, and it's straight up. There's no way such a man was going to be denied from that space with just that small gap.
Certainly, and today has really been the forwards' day out for the Kenyans. All their big men doing all the hard work and getting the just reward for it. We saw that try by Persian moments ago. We saw those 2 tries in the first half from Baraka and Maina. And also Gabriel Ayimba going over the whitewash. The Kenyan forwards have certainly made their presence felt in this fixture. Quite an interesting combination of boots there from the young man wearing different brands. Not too sure if the left foot has a different sponsorship deal from the right foot. And it is the right foot of Tony Okech. He doesn't get the points between the sticks. Could be something about the shoes. But this was that moment, the incessant pressure resulting in that try. Winston Macharia was not going to be denied. Winston Macharia stands at over 6 feet, and his defender about 5'8". Once he committed himself to going over, he wasn't going to be denied. And this is the Malagasy big man, Laja Andrea Manasi Njanahari. Good skills from the front row. It's kept alive by Guy Ernest Henry Nandra Naivo. Malagasy back to their full complement of 15 players. Fano Rakoto Nandrasana goes to the floor. Alain Rakotovao just carries that ball into the Kenyan 22. Mokoro trying to be a little sneaky, as we know scrum halves to be. Romaro Son, referee playing the advantage. Kenyans had forced the turnover and they will retain possession because of that handling error by the Malagasy. We still have about 14 minutes to play in this match.
Speaking of boots, after Tony Oket's different type, different branding boots at that conversion, we noticed that Tonga Sora Zafin Rahaja is also played the last 2 minutes there. You can see him lacing his boots. He was played the last 2 minutes or so with one pair of boots after the left one slipped off in his big carry. So I hope we will be seeing more of such hilarious moments in today's game.
Certainly, and this is a game that has had everything, color, points, and we can see the Malagasy head coach there just following the proceedings with no hint of expression on his face. Will be a scrum feed for the Kenyans just outside their 22. 13 minutes remaining here at the Nyayo National Stadium. This is the third place playoff in the Rugby Africa Under-20 Barthes Trophy. The ball picked up by the 8-man John Baraka. This is Mokoro. Oh, the handling error and the chase is on. It is killed by the Kenyans. They are able to secure possession. Anderson Odor also onto the field of play. Ball is claimed by Fidisoa Razana Parani. Searching run from Razana Parani. Again, the Malagasy ever so dangerous when they have that ball in hand. Searching run there from Rakoto Arija Aona. This is the Malagasy number 8. It was Randria Manantena, the captain, playing it to his lock forward Rakoto Nandrasana. Kenyans committing themselves there. Mokoro just driving his man back, but the Malagasy still in possession. Big tackle there on Flosi Tahiri Rakoto Nyaina. Then Elson Gabriel has been a quiet figure in this match, unable to find touch. And this is Anderson Odor. Anderson Odor beats one man, beats a second. Odor is on the floor, struggling to present that ball. And eventually, Kenyans are penalized. It is quickly taken by the Malagasy. Fidisoa Razana Parani certainly proving to be a handful for the Kenyans as we head into the final 10 minutes of this match. 42-15 to the outgoing champions. Another replacement for Kenya in the front row. George Otieno is on for Eid Ganguma. It's a big kick. And that is a kick from Fiona Rakotoson. It's been a lot more sedate in the second half. That first half was intense and it flew. 10 minutes remaining here. It is Kenya cruising. So far, the Malagasy putting up a good fight, but trailing by 27 points.
Sur nombre numérique. Ouais. 5.
And from this line out, Gabriel Ahimba has all the time in the world to even pause and look for someone to play the ball to. That's a big hit from Shikoli. Anderson Odor Releasing Dave Mwangi. Dave Mwangi running down the right flank. Mokoro, Odwor, Mwangi once again as the Kenyans enter the Malagasy 22. The referee is playing advantage. Well, the Malagasy forcing the turnover after Dave Mwangi failed to release that ball as he went to the floor.
For the umpteenth time in this game, I think we may not tire from saying this, but that late arrival by the Kenyans at the breakdown is giving the Malagasy free turnovers of possession in this game, and a try-scoring opportunity just goes begging because there's no man running that support to either give a playing option for the ball or to secure at the ruck.
Certainly well put there by Ernest Akor. As we speak, the Kenyans looking to pound their way. It feels almost like a blitz. You know, the Kenyans are dropping all these bombs to smoke the Malagasy out. And this is the hard-running Malagasy lock. He has the pace of a center starting in the second row. Fano Rakoto Nandrasana. This is George Otieno. Dave Mwangi again. Dave Mwangi just stepping out into touch. Dave Mwangi certainly exciting anytime he gets the ball. And that was another opportunity, but this time denied by the touchline. Dave Mwangi is a student at the Laser Hill Academy. Also plays for Top Fry Nakuru in the Kenyan top tier.
Final 10 minutes of the game and it's beginning to open up. I think the teams are going for their last push. It was the final last year, but there's a huge gap between the two teams in less than a year after that. But you can see that both teams are giving it their best, which is, I think, a very good climax for what would have been an exciting clash in this championship.
Indeed, it certainly has been worth the Sunday afternoon watch. And remember, there's still more to come up at 4:30 p.m. The Malagasy playing it short, but that was not straight even from my angle. A bit cheeky there from the Malagasy replacement hooker, Laja Andriamanasi Njanahari. Remember, the game also is about using the loopholes in the law to get them to work to your advantage. However, this time round, the Malagasy hooker was caught out by the hawk-eyed referee. It will be a scrum feed for the Kenyans in the middle of the park. 6 minutes still remain here at the Nyayo National Stadium. This is Mokoro with the scrum feed. And he plays the ball, bringing in Chacha. Maura Anderson Odwor has been lively. There never is a dull moment with Odwor, but he loses that ball there to the turnover. Malagasy in possession. Kenyans guilty of late arrival at the breakdown. Shikoli just electing to pull the Malagasy player's shirt and not let him run away from him. The referee playing the high tackle advantage. The Kenyans are penalized. Fiononana Rakotoson with the quickly taken penalty. The Malagasy players running into that brick wall of Winston Masharia and Gabriel Aimba. Some beautiful reverse passing from the Malagasy. Driving forward. And that is Andriamanasi Njanahari. To the excitement of the crowd here at the Nyayo National Stadium. He's a big man, takes a big fall to the floor. This is Mokoro. Koro bringing in Shikoli. Shikoli is looking to punch holes in the Malagasy defense. Baraka. And this is Osimbo. Osimbo takes out his opponent, goes to the floor. Mokoro. Mokoro with the darting run. Sniping at the base, the ball is kept alive by the Kenyans. That is Ayiro, the try line is beckoning. Referee playing the offside advantage. This is Mokoro, has men in support. He also has the try line in sight. And he barges over for the 5-pointer, 47-15. Cheeky play there from Cornelius Mokoro.
Cornelius Mokoro, very good try, very good awareness there. But I think it is a combination with Anderson Odwol. They have been the best players off the bench in this tournament. And you can see the reason why some points for Kenya in very easy points, catching the defense, snapping. And this little number 9, after all the hard work had been done by John Baraka and his 7 forwards, Cornelius Mokoro just sold that dummy, no one watching at the fringe, and he was over for the try.
A scrum half try indeed. It goes over for those 5 points. He will be looking to add to his tally. And remember, Mokoro has taken over the kicking duties from Tony Okech, who has been replaced by Anderson Odor. Anderson Odor can give you options in the back line. Play at fly half, scrum half and fullback. This man, the scrum half, Cornelius Mokoro, will be kicking for goal, and that kick is successful, 49-15. Converts his own try. Kenyans will be finishing this tournament on a high. It was a well-struck kick from the Kenyan scrum half. He was part of the squad that won last year. And this is another angle of the try scored by Mokoro. There's no one watching, and he exploits the smallest of spaces to go over the whitewash for those 5 points. Cornelius Mokoro plays his club rugby for Kenyan top-tier side, Kenya Harlequin. So another restart for the Malagasy. Certainly have been pounded into submission by the Kenyans. No other way to put it. I mean, the Kenyans, with their physical dominance, were always going to run hard at the Malagasy, and they've done that all afternoon.
Time back on.
That is a kick high and hanging. Looked to have been claimed, but there was that handling error from Laban Kipsang. It is Madagascar in possession. The delayed pass from Tokasoa Rasavin Rahaja. This is Rasolo Foniaina. Incisive run from Rasolo Foniaina. Change of direction there by Rakotoniaina. Again kept alive by Rasolo Foniaina. Looking for his support. It is slow to arrive, but is this going to be a try for the Malagasy? They certainly do have the Kenyan try line in their sights, but that tackle by Dave Mwangi just ensuring that possession is lost. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the game here at the Nyayo National Stadium. It is the Kenyans claiming the bronze medal in the Rugby Africa Under-20 Barthes Trophy. Disappointment for the Malagasy. They've exerted themselves, but not that well. It is the youngsters from Kenya, the outgoing champions, claiming the bronze medal here at the Nyayo National Stadium. Disappointment for the Malagasy, excitement for the Kenyans, ending on a high after that painful semi-final defeat to Namibia on Wednesday. Confirmation of the full-time score: Kenya 49, Madagascar 15. We will catch you for the next game, the final, in a few.
And to award the losing captain for Madagascar is Bono, Director Kenya Rugby Union in charge of women rugby, to be supported by Paul Lanko.
All right. The captain from the Madagascar side to receive the trophy from Paul Alanko, Honorary Treasurer, Rugby Africa, joined by Kenya Rugby Union Director in charge of women's rugby, Bwana Moses Ndale. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Madagascar. Thank you, thank you. And now we proceed to the awards for the referees. I'd like to ask Madam Paris. All right, Kenya captain first. The Kenya captain receiving the award from Bwana Moses Ndale and the Honorary Treasurer, Madam Paula Lanko. I'd like to ask Madam Paris Mukoko and Joshua Roni to kindly make the way forward to award the referees.
Manga! Manga!
All right, awarding the referees. Julie from Madagascar receiving an award from Kenya Rugby Union's Director, Paris Mukoko, and Joshua Roni, Honorary Treasurer, Kenya Rugby Union. All right. Coming up next, we have Nikado Pina receiving his individual medal award from the Treasurer, Kenya Rugby Union, Bwana Joshua Roni and Ferris Mukoko. Nikado Pina from Namibia. A big thank you, Nikado, for a job well done. Next in line, ladies and gentlemen, Zaid Isaacs receiving his individual medal award from the duo, that is the Treasurer, Kenya Rugby Union, Joshua Roni and Paris Mukoko. Zaid Isaacs from Namibia. A big thank you, Zaid. And finally, Amen Gigi, who was the center referee for the match between the Kenya Under-20 side and Madagascar. A big thank you to Amen Gigi and your officiating team, having undertaken a whole 2 weeks to be right here in Nairobi to make sure that we have this wonderful tournament going on, and top-notch officiating from the referee team. A big round of applause to the referees. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
and now the big breaking news is Kenya finishes third at this
coming down
edition of the Under-20 Barthes Trophy here at the Nyayo National Stadium, having beaten Madagascar 49 points to 15. What a game they have had, finishing on a high. Joining me now is none other than the Chipu's head coach, that is Curtis Olago, to just take us through the game and what next for the boys. Coach, thank you so much for creating time for us, and congratulations on finishing on a high.
Thank you.
The mentality you came with in this game has worked for you?
The mentality has always been the same. Is that we just, like I said, the previous game we didn't step into next gear, but this is a young team. They've got a lot of rugby in their lives. They're starting to learn the nitty-gritties about the game, and we have just have to be patient with them. Of course, with more time, we could have done more work, but it is what it is. We'll take the win and keep working as Chipu.